Welcome to Synopsis Hunter. And today we will be talking about Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes for the Nintendo GameCube. The story starts with our protagonist, named Solid Snake, being briefed by the commander in charge of the operation, Colonel Roy Campbell. Snake has to infiltrate an Alaskan base that has recently been under siege by a group of terrorists led by Liquid Snake. That man with the same codename as our hero. If their demands are not met within 24 hours, the terrorists will launch a nuke. The US government would like to know if whether or not the terrorists have the ability to do so. The demands are $1 billion and the remains of Big Boss, the greatest warrior of the 20th century. Other than that, Snake has to rescue two hostages, namely Donald Anderson and Kenneth Baker. Snake's mission will be extremely risky because he is outnumbered and has no official support. Plus he will have to deal with Foxhound operatives, namely Revolver Ocelot, an old-school gunfighter who can masterfully shoot his targets at absurd angles with ricochets. Decoy Octopus, a man obsessed with disguising himself to any subject with absolute seamlessness. Psycho Mantis, a psychic who can read your next moves before you can even take action. Sniper Wolf, a female sniper who has unbelievable patience when she stalks a target and aim with perfect accuracy. Vulcan Raven, an extremely muscular Native American with fast reflexes. And in charge of them all, Liquid Snake, the terrorist who simply has the same code name as our hero.
Stay alert. He'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
Snake successfully made his way to the docks. He must now get close to the elevator without being spotted by the patrolling soldiers who will shoot on sight if alerted. When an elevator finally came around, Snake wastes no time to ride it to the top to reach the heliport. Upon reaching the heliport, Snake is surprised to find Liquid Snake about to board a Hind-D, and the colonel explained that Liquid Snake is compelled to shoot down two F-16s roving in the Alaskan airspace. Snake examines his surroundings with his binoculars and can see that the soldiers are armed with rifles and grenades. Snake has also found out that there are two possible entries to reach the hangar, one from the ground floor and one from the upper level. But before Snake can make his way to the hangar, he must arm himself with a weapon, and he conveniently found a Socom pistol at the back of a truck. Our hero decides to enter the hangar from the upper floor and crawl to the vent to gain entry. Moments later, Snake is contacted by one of his mentors named McDonald Miller, aka Master. He offers Snake his advices about the Alaska and its environment since he lived in Alaska longer than Snake. While crawling through the vents, Snake came across soldiers who talked about the imprisonment of the DARPA chief Donald Anderson and a woman in the first-floor basement, and that they have to keep an eye open since there's a maniac who infiltrated the base and has already killed some of the patrolling soldiers. Snake then is stumped to hear that there's another spy besides him. Reaching the hangar at last, Snake examines an open room with a surveillance camera to find thermal goggles. Snake keeps it in his inventory, for it will serve him well in this mission. Snake made his way to the ground floor of the hangar, where soldiers patrolled and two M1 tanks are parked. It didn't take long for Snake to find the elevator and immediately went for it to make his way to the first floor basement. First floor basement is a prison. It's where inmates are kept behind metal doors. Snake made his way up a vent. While in the vent, Snake came across a woman doing sit-ups. But she's not his mission objective. But right next to the woman's cell is the DARPA chief Donald Anderson's cell. Snake made his way down for the rescue. Snake explained that it's his mission to get him out of here and asked if the terrorists truly do have the ability to launch a nuke. Donald replied with a heavy heart. Yes, it's possible, and the newly developed nuclear launcher called Metal Gear will propel the nuke at any coordinate. Donald also informed Snake that the Arms Tech president Kenneth Baker is held in the second-floor basement of the hangar and he must hurry to rescue him too. Moments later in their conversation, the DARPA chief suddenly had a heart attack, stunning everyone why it happened so suddenly. The woman somehow broke out of prison, took out the lone soldier patrolling and stole his uniform. She then opened the door letting Snake out and aim her rifle on him. But Snake calmly replied that she doesn't have what it takes to pull the trigger. Snake has an uncanny ability to tell if the soldier is a veteran or a rookie. And she is definitely lacking in battle experience. Soldiers suddenly busted in, alerting them to fight back. Snake took out the 3 soldiers in front of them, but the woman hesitated and couldn't bear to shoot. Snake urges her to shoot, pushing her to finally kill the soldiers who got in the way. The coast is clear now, and they made their way to the elevator. The woman suddenly dashed forward, alerting Snake, and sprayed bullets at him, but Snake has dodged them. An apparition appeared before Snake for a few moments, then disappeared. Snake dismissed it as just a hallucination. Our hero made his way to the second-floor basement. The area happens to be an armory, where weapons are being stored, and arms himself with as much he could find. Armed to the teeth, Snake makes his way to a room where the Arms Tech president Kenneth Baker is being tied up to a post. The president told Snake not to touch the wires because they are connected to C4 plastic explosives and could explode when triggered. Revolver Ocelot then revealed himself that it was him who tied up the president to lure Snake into fighting him in a Western-style shootout. Ocelot is no pushover when it comes to fighting with his single-action army. He can shoot his target by making bullets bounce off walls. And when reloading comes, it's his most exhilarating part of the duel. The other reason why Ocelot wanted to challenge Snake to a gunfight is that he is curious why he is given the same code name as the terrorist leader. The gunfight is over and Ocelot is lost. But a ninja cyborg suddenly appeared and sliced of Ocelot's right hand off and cut the wires to free the Arms Tech president. Snake asked the ninja for his name and the ninja just said that he has no name. Then stormed out of the room. Snake has successfully rescued Kenneth Baker. Snake then asked for the code to stop the Metal Gear from launching a nuke. But regrets to tell Snake that he talked since he has no training on how to resist torture. Snake has been told of the override keys called PAL. Snake will need 3 PAL key cards to deactivate Metal Gear. Baker told Snake that PAL is already in the possession of the woman who was put in prison, who is revealed to be the colonel's niece Meryl. The president is aware that Meryl escaped because she contacted him about it and relayed her frequency to Snake so they could communicate. Baker also told Snake that he needs to find Dr. Hal Emmerich, the team leader of the Metal Gear Rex project. If all else fails on deactivating the launch codes, the doctor can find a way to take it down in some other way. Snake must make his way to the nuclear warhead storage building to find Dr. Emmerich. But all of a sudden, the Arms Tech president also had a heart attack just like the DARPA chief. Snake got even more suspicious that there must be an unseen enemy that is yet to reveal itself. Our hero sets the frequency to Meryl's and contacts her. Snake asks Meryl why she looks surprised when she saw his face. She said it's because he looks exactly like the terrorist leader minus the long blonde hair. Snake asked if Meryl still has the PAL keys and is relieved that she still has it. And also told Snake that Dr. Emmerich is in the second-floor basement of the nuclear warhead storage building. Snake made his way to the ground floor of the hangar again to make his way to the nuclear warhead building. On his way to the cargo door, Snake must be aware that the area is rigged with lasers and will release poison gas when either one of them is triggered. This is where Snake uses the thermal goggles that he found earlier to safely pass without breaking any motion detectors. Outside the cargo doors, Snake finds himself outdoor in the snow and can make out tank tracks by the door. Just ahead, Snake is ambushed by an M1 tank commanded by a Foxhound operative named Vulcan Raven, saying that snakes don't belong in Alaska, then fires at Snake, but somehow survived with no permanent damage. Snake throws a chaff grenade to malfunction all electronics at a wide radius, then ran straight to the tank while its main gun is temporarily disabled. Snake throws a fragmentation grenade to the tank opening, killing a gunner on the tank hatch. Snake then throws another grenade directly through the main gun's barrel, blowing up the tank from the inside, sending the second gunner flying through the air. Vulcan Raven survives his encounter with Snake and informs Ocelot that he failed to stop him, but vows that they will meet again in battle and will stop him in their next encounter. Our hero made his way to the nuclear warhead building, where nuclear wastes are recklessly stored. Moments later, Snake is warned by Dr. Naomi that he must never under any circumstances fire his gun on that area since it could blow up nuclear warheads stored in stacked boxes. That area truly is a nuclear nightmare and a bane to everything holy. Snake carefully made his way to the upper floor to get on the elevator and made his way to the second-floor basement to make his way to Dr. Emmerich's laboratory. The second-floor basement happens to be an office floor, except for the fact that it's flooded with poisonous gas and the floors are electrified. Snake gets a call from an unknown personnel and tells him that the only way to make his way through this floor is to blow up the switchboard somewhere in this area. Our hero has to backtrack a little and make his way to the first-floor basement and locate the Nikita launcher to progress further on the second-floor basement. The first-floor basement happens to be another office areas where employees do their paperwork. Snake makes his way inside office rooms without detection and finds a Nikita launcher. With that in hand, he's ready to make his way back to the second-floor basement. With the switchboard taken out, Snake can now walk over the once electrified floors. In one of the office cubicles, Snake finds a gas mask, which is very useful in places such as this. Just ahead, Snake finds an area where there are a number of soldiers that seem to be attacked by an invisible enemy. And before Snake, he sees the ninja whom he met earlier and viciously butchers an already unarmed and beaten soldier with great inhumanity. Snake went after the ninja to find Dr. Emmerich as well. And he is petrified with fear. He simply told Snake that he is here to challenge him once again in combat just like what they did years back. While they are busy getting acquainted, the doctor hides himself inside a locker while he witnesses the two warriors doing battle. Snake tells the ninja to stay away from Emmerich because he is fundamental in this mission. The ninja seems to be impervious to bullets, not because of his exoskeleton, but because he can utilize his sword very well. Snake will have to attack with his bare hands. The ninja's speed and power is clearly superior. But Snake has the upper hand in strategy. Snake has the ability to tell when to strike and when to evade. Their battle wages on and went the distance until the ninja yielded defeat. The ninja asks Snake if he could find it in his memory to remember him from years back. Then Snake replied with an unsettling yes, but couldn't believe that the ninja is his friend whom he lost way back in Zanzibar. Then the ninja went crazy again and stormed out of the laboratory. It was his combat buddy, Frank Hyager. Dr. Emmerich finally came out of locker. Snake asked Emmerich what Metal Gear is designed for, but was furious when Emmerich didn't tell Snake that it was meant to be a mobile weapon of mass destruction. But Emmerich was telling the truth, and he was just doing his job blindly. He also gave Snake vital information that Metal Gear is being kept in the underground maintenance base north of the communications tower, and the emergency override system is also located in the control room of that area. Snake came to his senses that Meryl has the PAL keys for the emergency override system and has to contact her immediately now that he's currently in the nuclear warhead building. Dr. Emmerich told Snake to call him Otacon from now on. It means Otaku convention, and he is a big fan of it. With that being said, Otacon activated his stealth camouflage and went on ahead. Our hero made his way back to the first-floor basement to search for Meryl disguised as a soldier. Snake has to use his keen intellect to spot a rookie among veterans. Snake followed Meryl to the ladies' room, where Snake has been gun-pointed by Meryl again. Both of them finally met, and she declared that she's tired of disguising herself as an enemy soldier. Snake asked Meryl if she still has the PAL keys, but Snake is disappointed that she only has one of them. Snake's top priority now is to make his way to the underground maintenance base to either disarm the detonation codes or destroy Metal Gear entirely. After getting acquainted, Snake and Meryl made their way to the commander's room. Inside the commander's room, Meryl pointed her gun at Snake once more and flirts with Snake in an inappropriate manner only to find out that she is actually being mind-controlled by an apparition that Snake hallucinated in the hangar prison. Snake has no choice but to knock Meryl out. It may sound barbaric for a man to attack a woman, but it is necessary to restrain her from shooting mindlessly. Psycho Mantis, an operative for Foxhound, introduces himself and tells Snake that his optic camouflage is no gimmick but is from his true psychic power. He also clarifies his words to Snake by saying that aiming a gun at him will be useless since he can read Snake's mind and can dodge bullets ahead of time. Mantis then attacks Snake with a series of energy spheres, followed by moving around the room unseen. But Snake's reflexes are fast and can dodge projectiles with careful movement. Knowing that Mantis can read Snake's mind even before he could pull the trigger, Snake defeats mind reading of Mantis by shooting his gun with a clear and empty mind. Mid-fight, Mantis starts to feel frustration of not being able to read Snake's mind, that he resorted to controlling Meryl again to shoot Snake. But once again, Snake is forced to knock Meryl out. Mantis pulls out the dirtiest of tricks by controlling Meryl to shoot herself on the head. But Snake was able to incapacitate Meryl for the time being by shooting Mantis before Meryl shoots herself. Snake battles on until the final gunshot took Mantis down. Snake removes the gas mask of Mantis to reveal his disfigured and sutured face. Mantis ranted that the human race disgusts him. That humans are obsessed with passing on their seed to another and was enough to make him sick. He also mentioned that his mother died giving birth to him. And as a result, his father despised him for it. The sole reason for Mantis to join Foxhound was just an excuse for him to kill as many people as he could. Mantis read into Meryl's mind and reveals to Snake that he has a large place in her heart. But he doesn't know if they share a future that destined them to be together. As a final request from Mantis, he asked Snake to put his mask back on. With his last breaths, he revealed to Snake that there's a hidden door behind a bookcase that leads to the communications towers. Snake and Meryl made their way to the passage behind the bookcase, greeted by howling sounds. Snake figured that they are half wolves and half huskies. Our hero put on his night vision goggles for the cave is too dark to traverse. He is mindful of the wolves since Snake knows how dangerous they are when provoked. Towards the end of the cave, Snake spots Meryl who dashes her way through thanks for her womanly scent. The wolves don't see her as a threat. Both of them came across a narrow corridor which Meryl set as mined. Fortunately for her, she could somehow locate where the mines are planted when Psycho Mantis read into her mind. Snake notices a laser pointer aimed at Meryl. And they both held their breath, not to make any sudden movements. But before Meryl could evade, she got shot in her leg. Then the other leg. And on her arm. There's nothing Snake could do, since he isn't equipped with a sniper rifle to fight back the distant foe. In terrible pain, Meryl told Snake that the sniper was only using him as bait to lure him out. Snake is hell-bent on fighting back the sniper who shot a defenseless woman. Our hero must make his way back to the armory to find a weapon suitable for defeating an enemy from a great distance. Snake found himself a PSG-1. A semi-automatic high-caliber sniper rifle formidable enough to fight back the lurking shooter at the corridors. Back to fighting. Snake positions himself for the retaliation. Snake has to be patient when he aims his gun. He must know the location of the shooter first before he pulls the trigger. With the enemy in his sights, Snake pulls the trigger and down goes the shooter. Snake made his way through the corridor. But as soon as he made his way to the door ahead, he was ambushed by soldiers. Snake fights back, but is forced to cease his action when a red laser is pointed at him, forcing him to toss his weapon away, leaving him unarmed. The shooter reveals and introduces herself as Sniper Wolf, one of Foxhound's operatives. She is the type of hunter who never lets her prey get away. When she is waiting for her target to come around, she is patient enough to wait for hours or even days for the moment when she finally pulls the trigger. Sniper Wolf ordered the soldiers to knock Snake out and take him away. Snake woke up finding himself restrained in a revolving bed, seeing his twin brother Liquid Snake with two Foxhound operatives, Revolver Ocelot and Sniper Wolf, who captured him. Liquid told Snake that they are the last surviving sons of Big Boss. Vulcan Raven gave him a call informing him that the US government is not responding to their demands and is forced to launch a nuke in 10 hours. Liquid has to make his way, leaving Ocelot in charge of the interrogation. Ocelot invites Sniper Wolf to join him, but she chooses to feed her wolves over his interrogation. Sniper Wolf approached Snake whispering that Meryl is still alive, then walks away. Snake asked Ocelot where his equipments are kept and was told they are kept in a trunk close to the revolving bed. Ocelot starts his interrogation asking Snake the whereabouts of the other two card keys and the trick behind them. But Snake knows nothing of such. Ocelot frightens Snake, telling him that he's about to run a high-voltage electric current through his body and that he is a hostage with no possibility of a rescue. Snake survives the torture, and Ocelot gives Snake a short break before he gets to electrocute him again. Our hero is surprised to find the dead body of the DARPA chief Donald Anderson, already rotting in the cell where Snake is incarcerated in, as if he died days before. Truth is, he only died a few hours ago. The soldier guarding the cell suddenly got an upset stomach and hurries to the restroom, leaving Snake alone in the area. Moments later, Otacon makes an appearance to visit Snake in his cell, and Snake urged him to get him out quickly. He immediately noticed a stench inside and was shocked that it's the corpse of the DARPA chief. Otacon gave Snake some food with ketchup to regain some of his strength and also gave him a handkerchief that Sniper Wolf gave him, which Snake doesn't know what it's good for. Our friend has to make his way out now that the soldier guarding the cell has returned to his position. Snake laid down on the ground and let the ketchup flow out of the bottle to make it look like Snake killed himself while incarcerated. The soldier seems perplexed of Snake's sudden death in his cell and opened the cell door to investigate. But then he found out the hard way that Snake was only playing dead and got choked by him until the soldier passed out. Snake regained all his equipments and resumes his mission to get to the underground maintenance base. Our hero has to make his way all the way back to the corridors again to continue where he last left off. Snake finally made it to the door that he previously failed to progress since he was ambushed by Sniper Wolf. Our hero finally made it inside the communications tower and must make his way to the other communications tower using the walkway on the 10th floor connecting the buildings. Unknowingly, Snake trips motion detectors, alerting the soldiers to come after him as he makes his way to the 10th floor after shooting the soldier who came after him. Running up the stairs, Snake fights his way through legions of soldiers. Snake receives incoming transmission from Otacon, and he said that sometimes the door gets frozen due to the extreme cold on the outside, and Snake will be left with no choice but to reach the rooftop and cross the building via the satellite dish connecting the towers. Snake battles on to reach the top of the tower. Soldiers are hell-bent on stopping Snake in his tracks, but their ruthlessness pales in comparison to Snake's ferocity, making him an unstoppable juggernaut that steamrolls everything impeding his way. Our hero has made it to the rooftop when he was about to cross the satellite bridge connecting the two towers. A hind shows up, piloted by Liquid Snake, shows up and shot the satellite down, blowing up the bridge that Snake would have used to make his way to the other tower. Snake is defenseless against a hind and must make a dashing escape by rappelling his way down the rooftop to the 10th floor walkway. Upon reaching solid ground, Snake must beware of the soldiers waiting at the other end of the bridge, waiting for Snake to come by. Snake successfully made his way to the other communications tower and got himself a Stinger launcher. It's a man-portable air defense system that operates as an infrared homing surface-to-air missile launcher. With that weapon, Snake can finally fight back against the Russian gunship. Our hero tried to use the elevator to get to the ground floor of the tower, but the elevator seems to be out of order. Snake will have to take the stairs going down. But upon reaching the 6th floor, Snake found out that the stairs have been obliterated and is forced to go back where the elevator is. Our hero senses an enemy on his way back, but it was revealed that it was only Otacon with his stealth camouflage on. Otacon was asked how he got here, and he replied that he was using the elevator. Snake got confused because it wasn't functioning moments ago. As Snake and Otacon hears the hovering of the hind outside, Snake asked Otacon to repair the elevator while he makes his way to the rooftop to take down the hind with the stinger he found. Without error, Snake anticipates Liquid's appearance on the rooftop with the hind. With his stinger in hand, the battle commences. Snake must stay away from the hind's perspective, for it has a machine gun mounted to it. Liquid Snake fires 2 missiles at Snake. One struck the ground and the other one Snake used as a boost to elevate him for a clear shot at the hind. The hind fell from the sky and explodes on impact, erupting a pillar of fire at its destruction. Snake gets a call from Otacon informing him that the elevator is functional. But what bothers Otacon is that he didn't do anything to fix it. It just worked on its own. Getting a green light on the elevator issue, Snake heads back to where his progress was previously impeded. Snake finally got on the elevator but was perplexed why the weight limit went off. Otacon gave Snake a call informing him that 4 of his stealth camouflages have been stolen. Snake asked Otacon if the weight limit went off when he rode on it, but he couldn't be over the limit because he only weighed 135 when the weight limit is 650. It would have been possible if there were 5 people in there with him. Otacon hysterically warns Snake that the stealth camouflage thieves are in the elevator with him. Snake engages to a fight with 4 invisible soldiers inside a narrow elevator using his striking skills and a grenade. Finally, at the ground floor of the 2nd communications tower, Snake is getting close to the underground maintenance base where Metal Gear is kept. Our hero stepped out of the communications tower and is greeted with thick snow. It didn't take long until Snake finds out that he was ambushed again by another invisible enemy. Snake immediately contacts Otacon asking him if there were any other stealth prototypes back in his lab. But Otacon denies that there weren't any more of them. Otacon warns Snake that he is under attack by Sniper Wolf, whom he previously encountered before getting captured. Snake engages Sniper Wolf in a sniping battle once more. With the snow blowing, it will be difficult for both of them to spot their adversary. Snake must use laser tracing to pinpoint Sniper Wolf's current location and try to avoid being in her sight as well. With patience, Snake spots the enemy sniper shooting her on her torso. But was only a flesh wound. Snake makes a quick peek to aim his rifle at the enemy sniper but was disarmed with a clever shot from Sniper Wolf. But with a quick acrobatic display, Snake retrieves his sniper rifle and both warriors pulled the trigger simultaneously. Our hero is unharmed, but unfortunately for Sniper Wolf, Snake got her in her lung, incapacitating her completely. Snake makes his way to check on his formidable opponent who happens to be dying where she lays and is begging our hero to give her a mercy shot to end her suffering. But before the final gunshot to end her life, Sniper Wolf requested to die still gripping her rifle and was obliged by Otacon to fetch it for her. As Snake, Otacon, and the wolves gather around Sniper Wolf, Snake pulls the trigger ending her life with the wolves howling and the cold winds blowing. Our hero returns Sniper Wolf's handkerchief, places it over her face, and went on his way to the underground maintenance base. Snake made his way to the blast furnace, an area steaming with molten steel used for smelting to produce industrial metals. Our hero finds himself on the upper floor of the area, and there seems to be no way to get to the lower floors. Snake has to improvise by jumping one story down to the lower area. Our hero finds himself in the cargo elevator room. Snake operated it and was ambushed by 4 soldiers who were exceptionally aggressive that Snake had to resort to exploding a hand grenade to make them flinch before they land. Snake engaged the enemies by using a combinations of his striking and shooting skills to neutralize the threat of multiple soldiers. The cargo elevator has stopped moving, and the place is extremely cold. The area just ahead feels like an oversized freezer. Snake found Vulcan Raven in the freezer equipping himself with an M61 Vulcan autocannon. This is probably why people call him Vulcan. Our hero commented about their previous battle, where Vulcan Raven was commandeering an M1 tank which Raven laughs it off saying it was not a true battle. Raven declares Snake as a true warrior, and their battle will be glorious. Vulcan Raven hurls a steel container at Snake, but he blew it up with a stinger. Snake makes a run for it when Vulcan Raven started to fire his autocannon, dodging bullets by sprinting like an animal. When the time is right, Snake fires the stinger at Vulcan Raven, but the missile is intercepted by his weapon. The battle wages on until Vulcan Raven finally reached the breaking point of his limits. Before Raven kicks the bucket, he revealed the truth of the DARPA chief's death. It was not Donald Anderson who died before Snake's eyes, but was a foxhound operative named Decoy Octopus, a master of disguise. Octopus was so obsessed with copying his subject to the point that he would drain their blood and injecting it to his bloodstream. Moments later, the ravens swarmed toward Vulcan and began feasting on him while he's still alive. Snake turns around and walks away to progress with his mission. But as Snake turns around to have a glimpse of Vulcan Raven, there was nothing left of him. Our hero gets an incoming transmission from Master Miller regarding Dr. Naomi Hunter. Master said Dr. Naomi Hunter isn't what she said she was. She is an imposter posing as the real Naomi Hunter who disappeared somewhere in the Middle East years back. Naomi is suspected to be a spy, and Master Miller urged Colonel Campbell to place her under arrest. Master is suspicious with the death of the DARPA chief Donald Anderson and the Arms Tech president Kenneth Baker. But Snake got irritated by the colonel because he was actually hiding things from Snake. Snake made his way forward and he finally reached the underground maintenance base. Snake has finally seen Metal Gear Rex with his own eyes. It looks massive. And it has the ability to call down a nuclear strike. Our hero made it to the underground maintenance base control room with Liquid Snake and Ocelot inside. Snake eavesdropped to get information from the terrorists. Ocelot mentioned that he already inputted the PAL codes to the system for activation to prepare for a nuclear launch. Liquid wants to call down a nuke on Lopner, China since it's a nuclear test site. That way it can be concealed from the public and Washington will worry about a nuclear retaliation from China. Other countries will want to contact them when they hear about the new weapon and Washington will not appreciate selling their own system auctioned. And the US president will give in to their demands. Big Boss's DNA and $1 billion. Liquid Snake also wanted the Fox dye vaccine as part of their demand. Now that they have a new type of nuclear weapon, they can call down a nuclear launch to anywhere in the world since the base has an abundant supply of nuclear warheads. Once they get the DNA and the money, they will use it to create the perfect army the world has never seen before. Liquid says that starting today, this base will be called
Outer Heaven.
Big Boss's dream.
Ocelot worries about the PAL being overridden. It's possible to disable the activation by inputting the codes to the system again. Liquid has been asked by Ocelot what he wants to do with Meryl. Liquid wants to keep her alive and use her as their ace in the hole. Snake receives a call from Otacon regarding the PAL keys. When insert the keys when it's activated, you deactivate it. And when you insert it when it's inactive, it becomes activated. And it can only be used once. 3 keys are needed for the input. But Snake only has one of them. Otacon explained that Snake already has all 3 of them. The PAL key is made of shape memory alloys. It has the ability to change shape depending on the temperature, making the card Snake is holding right now 3 keys in one. Otacon explains that the laptop terminals in the control room are for the emergency input. They need to be inputted from left to right. Yellow for room temperature key. Blue for low temperature. Red for high. Unknown to Snake, Ocelot has been watching him by surveillance camera all along, firing his revolver making Snake drop the PAL key to the drainage ditch. Snake searches for the card but is not looking very well. So he makes a call to Master Miller for advice. Master told Snake that the PAL key may have been eaten by a rat and will have to resort to hunting them first before he can resume his mission. Snake used a sniper rifle to exterminate a specific rat who ate the card key and retrieve it. Now Snake can return to the control room and input the room temperature key confirming PAL code number 1. With that in mind, Snake has to find a place with extreme cold to freeze the key. And the battleground with Vulcan Raven is the perfect area for the PAL key to change shape. A cold area. Snake will have to take his time freezing the card by choking soldiers patrolling the area to pass the time. When the card feels cold enough, Snake makes his way back to the control room for the confirmation of PAL code number 2. Snake gets a call from Master Miller regarding the Naomi situation. Master asked Snake if he's heard of Fox dye, a virus capable of targeting specific people it's programmed with. He also told Snake that the deaths of Kenneth Baker and Donald Anderson, or should I say, Decoy Octopus, were too similar. And that Fox dye kills its victims by simulating a heart attack. And that Dr. Naomi Hunter is suspected to be behind all this. Master asked Snake if Naomi gave him a shot before the mission. Snake replied that it was for the nano machines. The colonel entered the conversation and informed Snake that Naomi has been under arrest for sending coded messages towards an Alaskan base. Master Miller is concerned about Snake being infected with Fox dye too. But Snake will have to leave it to the colonel for now. With the second PAL code confirmed, Snake makes his way to the blast furnace area to heat up the PAL key. Our heroes suddenly get an incoming transmission. And it's from Dr. Naomi Hunter. Snake asked if it's true what the colonel said about her. And Naomi replied that not all of it was a lie. She said that she was alone as a child until she met her big brother. Snake's combat buddy. Frank. The ninja from before. Frank was Naomi's only family who Snake killed in Zanzibar. Big Boss apparently brought Naomi to America but had to go back to fight a war. And that's when Snake was fighting Frank in a distant land, sending him home a cripple. Naomi's reason for joining Foxhound was to take revenge on Snake someday for destroying Frank. Snake told Naomi that he doesn't blame her for trying to kill him. But Snake still has a job to do. Naomi suddenly got cut off and the Colonel took over to inform Snake that she can no longer make unauthorized transmissions. Snake demanded that he would like to resume his conversation with Naomi with regards to Fox Die. But the Colonel declines Snake's request for she is under arrest. The Colonel reminds Snake that his top priority is to stop Metal Gear. Snake made his way back to the control room and inputted the final PAL code to override the system. To Snake's absolute shock, he actually activated the detonation code, readying the launch. Snake receives an incoming transmission from Master Miller and thanks Snake for activating the detonation code for them. Master Miller told Snake that they were incapable of launching a nuclear weapon by themselves, which bothered them. Without a nuclear threat, their demands would never be met. Without the detonation codes, they will have to find an alternative way to get things done. And this is where Snake comes into the picture. Master Miller had Decoy Octopus disguise himself as the DARPA chief. They were hoping to get an info from Snake, but then Fox Die kicked in from injecting himself with the real DARPA chief's blood. Snake got mad that Master Miller planned everything all along to get Snake to input the detonation codes for the terrorists. Now that the launch preparations are complete, the White House will have to give in to their demands. The Colonel suddenly barged into the transmission telling Snake that it's not Master Miller he's talking to. Master Miller's dead body has just been discovered at his home, who happened to be dead for at least 3 days. On top of that, Mei Ling said that this so-called Master Miller's signal came from inside the base. It is revealed to Snake that he's been talking to the terrorist leader Liquid Snake all along. Snake steps out of the control room to find Liquid pass by and confronts him. Liquid reveals to Snake that he was just used as a vector to spread Fox Die to the space. He also pointed out that the Arms Tech president and Decoy Octopus died of Fox Die during their encounter. But Ocelot and Liquid were unaffected. And if Fox Die doesn't kill Snake, then it will not kill Liquid. For they share the same genetic code. And it is revealed that Snake and Liquid are actually twins. Liquid says Snake got all the dominant genes from Big Boss, while Liquid got the recessive ones instead. And that his only reason for existence: to create Snake. Liquid cannot take the fact that Big Boss chose him as the inferior one and he wanted revenge for that. But Snake stole his chance for revenge by killing Big Boss in his mission at Outer Heaven years back. And for that, Liquid will have to suffice by taking revenge on Snake. Liquid got onto this Metal Gear Rex and operates it, sending Snake into a frenzy of unparalleled feeling of an upcoming battle with an unknown entity never before seen in human history. Snake glares at his colossus of an opponent, examining it from bottom to top, rapidly analyzing what its flaw could be. Our hero makes a run for it to evade Metal Gear's attacks. This gigantic monstrosity of a battle tank is equipped with a Vulcan cannon, a laser, and a rail gun. This is a fight for Snake's life. And this is the one battle where the odds against him is off the scale. Our hero has made a significant damage on Metal Gear that it stopped moving for a moment. When it did move again, the Titan stomped on Snake, but was rescued by Frank, also known as Gray Fox, who wedged himself between the ground and Metal Gear's foot. Metal Gear raised its foot again to stomp on Gray Fox, but the ninja evaded and hurled his sword towards its ray dome, an attachment of Metal Gear to digitally generate a map of the surroundings. Fox equipped himself with a gun-like attachment to right arm, allowing him to shoot projectiles at targets and further damages Metal Gear's ray dome. Fox talks to Snake, telling him that it was him who killed Naomi's parents when he was a young soldier, but couldn't bring himself to kill her too. Feeling guilt, Fox took care of her. He also told Snake to tell Naomi that it was him who killed her parents. Then Fox went after Metal Gear again, but got his left arm sliced off with the laser it's equipped with. Fox gets crushed by Metal Gear's hood. With his last ounce of strength, Fox gets to have the last laugh by shooting Metal Gear's ray dome, making it unable to process its surrounding environment digitally. Metal Gear stomped on Gray Fox this time. Snake battles Metal Gear once more to bring it down for good. Snake has done the impossible. He has beaten the colossal state-of-the-art walking battle tank. But as it stopped moving, Metal Gear blows up and sending Snake flying back to a concrete wall, rendering him unconscious. As Snake woke up with his hands bound, he sees Liquid in front of him still alive and revealed to him that Meryl is right behind Snake. Liquid informs Snake that the Pentagon is aware of Metal Gear's destruction and tells Snake to ask Colonel Campbell for the details. The Secretary of Defense apparently took over the operations and he is about to bomb the Alaskan base. Now that the nuclear threat is neutralized, the Secretary of Defense will cover up the truth of what's actually happened here. But the Colonel will do whatever he can to stop the nuclear strike. All of a sudden, the Colonel is pulled out from the transmission and the Secretary of Defense took over. He placed the Colonel under arrest for leaking top-secret information. He wants to rid the base of any evidence of a terrorist activity. The Secretary of Defense has prepared a cover story that the terrorist exploded a nuclear device to cover his tracks. Liquid unbound Snake and shows him a nuclear module in his hand. As soon as Meryl dies, the bomb will explode, killing both of them as it detonates. Snake and Liquid stood apart from each other for their final confrontation. Liquid falls off the ledge, killing him. Checks on Meryl and is relieved that she's alive. Our hero receives an incoming transmission from Otacon telling Snake about him stopping Rex. But also got bad news from Snake that they are about to be bombed. Snake asked if there are any exits from their location. And Otacon tells him about the loading tunnel next to the maintenance base. Otacon offered to stay behind as Snake and Meryl makes their way out of the base to take care of their escape route, since it would be impossible for Snake to get past security by himself. As Snake and Meryl prepares for their escape, Meryl asks him where Otacon is. Snake says he is currently fighting with his old self to be the man he wants to be. As they went on their way to the loading area, Snake spots his sneaking suit and puts it on while Meryl puts on a jacket herself. Meryl offers to take the wheel but got spotted by a surveillance camera and the couple gets swarmed by enemy soldiers. Snake keeps the soldiers busy while Meryl steals a jeep. When Meryl got a jeep's ignition to start, Snake hopped in and shoots the oil barrel, blowing it up to storm off to the exit. Just when they thought they're safe towards the exit, Liquid shows up. To everyone's shock, he apparently survived his fall. Snake and Liquid engages to a shootout on a jeep. The exit is just ahead. Liquid closes in on Snake, but he gives him headbutts to wear him down. Just as they were about to fall off a cliff, their jeeps crash and stops moving. Everyone survived, including Liquid. Even when he's limping, he menacingly walks slowly towards Snake and aims his rifle at him. All of a sudden, Fox die kicks in and finally kills Liquid for good. Snake receives an incoming transmission from Colonel Campbell. The Secretary of Defense has been arrested for early retirement. The colonel was able to contact the president and tells him of the terrorist activity in Alaska. Then cancels the air raid and the nuclear strike that was about to be dropped on the base. Snake showed his gratitude to the colonel by letting him know that his niece Meryl is fine and they'll be heading home soon. Our hero and Meryl found a snowmobile nearby and took it to ride into the sunrise under the northern lights like a movie hero rescuing a damsel in distress. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon. Or leave a like and a comment. It will help the channel out. Thank you for watching the Synopsis Hunter.